everybody. I'll be starting my live in a moment. For some reason, my head, there we go. So my name is Angelique, and I am from the Breath of Daydreams. And tonight I am going to be reading some poetry that is in my book called A Serenade of Madness, Murmurings of a Manic Muse. And I will be reading a poem from somebody who purchased my book and wrote their own poem in my book, because I have, let me find where some of them are. I have pages inside my book for people to write their own poetry, and because I think everybody should have their poems in a book if they write poetry. It's fun to do. And then I will be reading some poetry that I've written over the last week or two and posted on Instagram. If you haven't seen me before or you don't know me, I enjoy reading other people's poetry on lives usually. And I enjoy reading my own poetry. Well, no, I don't. I don't enjoy reading my own poetry, but I'm working towards enjoying reading my own poetry. I enjoy writing my own poetry. And that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. The last couple of videos I've gotten questions asked about if I'm sick. I am not sick. I just shaved my head at the beginning of the year and then at February, and it's very stick straight and fine. So right now it is at a let's stick up all over the place like a porcupine pace. And so that is why I'm wearing this. But no, I am not sick. And I think that's it. So please excuse my nervousness and my rambling. I don't know if I'm going to talk about the poems or not. I don't tend to talk about my own poetry. I will try to force myself to do it a little bit, but right now we're doing good just to get me to come on here and read my poetry live. Baby steps. So my name is Angelique. I'm from the Breath of Daydreams, and the first bit of poems that I'm going to read are from my book, which is The Serenade of Madness, A Serenade of Madness, Murmurings of a Manic Muse. And in it, there's poetry that is about muse and creativity and love and magic and all the happy stuff, fantasy. That's kind of what this book is about. And it has, I think I should have wrote it down, shouldn't I? I don't remember how many poems it has in it. I think it has 250 something poems in it. And there's also pages in it for you to do your own poetry, because I think it's cool for you to go in and be inspired and write your own poetry in it. And if you do that, and like if you buy the book, you write your poetry in it, and you send me a picture of it, or you send me what it is, and you tell me about it and give me permission, one, I'll read you on a live, but I'll definitely share you on my stories and stuff, because I do believe in promoting other poets. I just think that's cool. So while this is my book, and the poems that I'm about to read, the first few are in my book, I'm going to read them from my computer because it's challenging to read it from my book. So you see the book is here, the book exists, the poems are real. Lots and lots and lots of poems, but I'm reading it from my computer. So this is more, the first thing I'm going to read to you is an introduction to my book, and then I'm going to read somebody who actually wrote for my book. And so this talks about my muse. And I wrote this like back in 2015, I think, 2014, I don't remember. She is always there. Her voice rarely stops. The flow of verse that drifts through my mind could be considered madness by many. To me, it's simply life. I am less comfortable when my muse is silent than I am when she's rambling nonstop. My muse teases and torments my thoughts with possibility. Everything is a daydream, waiting to be manifested into reality. Each smile, the epitome of giddiness, every heartache is a gut-wrenching debacle of survival. Be it in writing, music, art, or any other form of creativity, my muse is a constant resource of curiosity and wonder. And I am lucky to have been driven insane by her. Sanity is for the dull-minded, the uninspired, Give me madness, give me emotions, give me inspiration, give me creativity. It all balances out when we begin again. And let me fix this. If you do happen to write something in chat and I don't respond, it is because I don't see it. For some reason lately, YouTube does not want to let me see my own chats, which is just lovely. But we're going to go from there. And I think that just kind of said what it is, what it is. I always have poetry going through my mind. I've always got creative ideas going through my mind. If I see something, I pretty much get inspired by it and want to create something that's usually in wildly different directions. But the world around me keeps me in this creative space of imagination, and I can't not be inspired by what I see. So it kind of creates a bit of chaos in the head. And so that's what that described. And now this is by Richard, No More Half Measures 2023. And he wrote this in my book that he purchased, and I love it. There's a section in my book that asks you to write about yourself. And so I don't know if that's what he was doing here, but it kind of sounds like it. And so this says, and so this is Richard, No More Half Measures 2023, both on YouTube and on Instagram. And he is an incredible poet. He rhymes and has mad rhythm and has amazing storytelling that talks about the troubles and the morals that we have going on in society and the struggles that we go through as individuals. So I strongly, strongly encourage people to go follow him. And so he says, I am the keeper of untamed thought, a weaver of dreams that can't be bought. Through ink and voice, I dabble and spin worlds unseen and truths within. My words are sparks till rampant fire, lighting hearts with fierce desire. They carve the air, they cut, they heal, a silent force to make you feel. In every phase, emotions scream, deafening whispers from an endless dream. Now I'm a poet. Maybe I've always been, giving life to what the soul hath seen. And that was Richard. I just love the way he goes there with his poetry, and he's looking in his mind and looking at his thoughts and looking at the world around him and just digging out and discovering what is it that it makes me feel, what's challenging me, what am I overcoming. And that is what all of his poetry does. And so I'm just honored that he's letting me read it. So thank you so much, Richard. And this next poem is in my book. And it's called Who Am I? Who am I? I am a moonbeam stolen, a sloppy semicolon, a slanted figure eight, a force you can't negate. I am a humming contemplation, a slightly strange flirtation, a soul of silver thread, a bit of a hothead. I am a rainbow dressed in black, a vixen on my back, a bit batty in the attic, an introverted enigmatic. I am a vulgar scale that wobbles, a graceful klutz who hobbles, a tinkering creative, a bit imaginative. I am a broken wind chime mended, a voice not often comprehended, a melancholy giggle, a brat who likes to wiggle. I am a playful heart, eclectic, a puzzle drawn, quite skeptic, a loner, too loquacious, a temple styled curvaceous. I am me, a simple oxymoron on an unexpected path, determined to love wholeheartedly. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a good evening, Paw and Deep Verk. And so that poem really just kind of, it was for a prompt a couple of years ago, and the prompt said, "Who are you? Explain yourself." And so that explained who I am, I think, pretty well. And so the next poem that I'm going to read is also in my book, and it is called Song of the Muse. Listen when the madness streams. Listen when the whispers scream. Listen to the voices gleam. Listen to the walking dream. Be still, be silent, but don't be meek. Be aware of what you seek. Be brave in action. Be unique. Be confident in your mystique. Deliver love in all your ways. Deliver hope. Ignore the craze. Deliver strength. Set the world ablaze. Deliver kindness with your praise. Feel empowered. Take control. Feel Earth's magic make you whole. Feel my love. Release the toll. Feel and reignite your soul. And to me, that is the Song of the Muse. I know that we get inspiration from different sources, and sometimes we are inspired to write about things that are not happy or chirpy or bright. But I think the power, the magic within us, the imagination within us, I believe that exists to spread love and to uplift others and to make the world a better place. That's what a muse is to me, personally. And so this next poem is a villanelle that's in my book, and it is called Weep Not, Vast Dreams Bloom. Weep not these failures staged as gloom. Without, your ship might sink. Their presence coax vast dreams to bloom. Such endings rarely end in doom, though cheeks may glow a touch too pink. Weep not these failures staged as gloom. Invigorate lost minds to plume, set rummage for that missing link. Weep not these failures staged as gloom. Refrain from feeding thoughts that fume. The mind is not a boxing rink. Their presence coax vast dreams to bloom. The world is vast and not your tomb, though life will take you to the brink. Weep not these failures staged as gloom. Their presence coax vast dreams to bloom. And I wrote that again, probably anywhere between 2015 and 2017. And I think I wrote that because people often think the end of the world is there because they failed at something, or they failed in a relationship, they've lost their job, any number of things. And I don't consider that failure. I consider that an opportunity for growth and an opportunity to do better next time. It's just lessons, and your dreams can still bloom. As long as you're breathing, your dreams can still bloom, and dreams shift and change. And so I just think people shouldn't give up hope. And so that's kind of what this is saying. It's like, don't give up hope. I mean, yes, have your cry if you need to, but keep pushing forward and keep believing in yourself, and you'll get where you need to be. Oh, and this next one's going to be a hard read. Because it's fast. Okay. This next one's in my book as well. It was written to a prompt it was written to a prompt last year. And it is called #LineBlurrer. I may read it slower than it needs to be read because I don't know if I have the tongue gymnastics to do this. Okay. LineBlurrer by me. LineBlurrer, spoof disperser, bubble popping, rhyming cursor, edge ascender, pledge defender, challenge taker, on a bender. High on chuckles, could give a fuckles. That's not true. Knee off and buckles. Wish to wish upon a star, then took a dive to plummet far. Crowd avoider, silent loiter, strange collecting, art stash hoarder. You say hoarder. I know that messed up. Let me start over. See, this is hard. I messed up. Okay. Starting over. And this is why I'm having to do it live instead of recording it on a video, because if I recorded it on a video, I would just keep starting over every single time I messed up. So if I mess up this time, I'm not going to start over. Hashtag LineBlurrer. LineBlurrer, spoof disperser, bubble popping, rhyming cursor, edge ascender, pledge defender, challenge taker, on a bender. High on chuckles, could give a fuckles. That's not true. Knee off and buckles. Wish to wish upon a star, then took a dive to plummet far. Crowd avoider, silent loiter, strange collecting, art stash sorter. You say hoarder, I say border, swaying the scale of disorders order. Lustful nothing, craving something, emancipated, could be bluffing. Loyal to a fault, but thriving, full of shit. It's called surviving. Has no patience for contriving, knows the game but won't be driving, more often not revivifying, leaving just to keep on striving. Balanced awkwardly unstable, nah, that'd mean I wear a label. Lay the cards out on the table, there's several lines that I won't cross. Come what may, whatever the cost, I won't take a win if it means being lost, but I will keep blurring lines. And so that was that. And again, it kind of says exactly what it means. And so the next one is Murmurings of a Waking Muse. And it is also in my book. Before the fields swayed blue, before the skies danced orange, before gold encased the warmth that cooled our evening songs and fever replaced our centers with a gnawing vacancy, before time shattered, we had learned peace. Children never wept with hunger, for our tables were never divided. Ancient bones only rattled with laughter, in joy with the follies of youth. They were never disregarded as little more than wrinkled skin suits taking up space. There was knowledge in those fading temples, lifetimes of insight to be harvested and sorted as leisure. We were bountiful, we were glorious, we lived entwined with the rainbow instead of chasing it. We knew our place upon the wheel, and we were respected for how smoothly we aided in its turning. We did not just hear the notes of life. Our hearts beat in tune with them. We were the children of the skies, and the heavens adored our melodies for the harmony we sought with every breath. We were unprepared for the coming catastrophe. So content in our journey, it never occurred to us that anyone would find fault in our rhythm. We thought foolishly, naively, ignorantly. We thought they would be proud, our ancestors, that we would be valued, treasured, loved. Our mistake was in thinking we'd be seen. We were not. We were decimated. Hello, Ruya. Do I know any Turkish words? I do not. I do not, but I hope you're having a nice evening. And then the next poem from my book is called Anaxiphilia. My heart yearns to quicken again, beyond the pale purgatory of this rapturous cage. The notes. They thrum in silent reverie, cascading and then beckoning and lulling to the sleeping madness, the sadness encased in gladness that knows no words, no bounds. They're lost, you see. It's the cost, the fee, forever found inside the leathery fortress of my once nimble mind. It's the sound. A rhapsody of roaring waves, a cacophony of voice, titillating my senses to surrender to their charm. Awareness of reality, a dissonance from all I know, all I crave, all I am brave enough to reach out and touch. And it's too much. It's such sweet, sweet sorrow. How it coos and it weeps, it creeps, it leaps from high to low, so slow, never sleeping. It lunges to stake my escape, to fake my inkscape, my dreamscape, my shape, 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 shape. Thoughts agape, emotions drape, my soul's awake to the scrape, 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 scraping down my spine. The fine I must align, I can't unwind, I must refine. I can't begin to filter harm or sound alarm. To the harmony, the melody, the whisper never quelled in me. I am the wailing majesty, the twice-born, thrice-blessed tragedy, a shape-shifting landscape carved by a muse too manic to take a breath, overfilled with depth, too wide of breath. She'll be my death. She craves the bastion of originality, and I am but a cracked corpse, forever surfing the pleasures of misplaced and misbegotten treasure within an ocean of fears too vast for one measly scribe to devour. And that just kind of explains the relationship between my muse and I. And please ignore my squeaky chair. I apologize for that. And so the next poem is also in my book, and it is called My Focus. My focus is like a scattered wind, dancing through the husks of fallen leaves, deliberate, chaotically despondent, resplendescent in its flickering joy. No surface is safe from its intense scrutiny, no crack hidden, no flaw unadored, no perfection left unpulverized. S, not Z, because my focus is an amateur explorer. You got to get to the guts of the matter, the sticky bits, the jagged fringe, the structures glued to keep the theft hinged. Archaeological exploration of a mind unwound, of an art unfound. Beyond the buoyancy of a salvaged conflagration, my focus convulses in a ditch of its own digging, choking on the infestation of worms trying to direct its conduct. There's no pilots on this twister of inflated disillusionment, only passengers clinging for their lives, unable to decipher the scrawling aftermath of a sketch left erased by the pacings of time. My focus is a fossilized remnant of a renaissance kept reclusive. It squats in exhausted splendor until it huff and puffs enough energy for its next flounce. My focus is the cross-hatched leftovers from the meanderings of a miscreant muse. I'm just along for the ride. And that is the last poem I'm reading from my book. For tonight, anyway. The next poems that I'm going to read are poems that I've posted on Instagram in the last few weeks. Some of them are still up, I think. Some of them have been taken down. I tend to take my poetry down after a week. Currently, I'm keeping poetry up that has anything to do with politics and the current wars that are going on in the world. Social poems like that. I think it's important that we keep our voice up on that in the moment because they're being stifled too much. And the world is in a very scary place right now. Also, poems that I write in a series on vampires, those stay up as well. So, but this poem I wrote tonight after waking up from a really bad dream. And so it is called Tomorrow's Dream. I dream not of a dappled sky, nor cool grass between my toes. Instead, my dreams are filled with hunger and a burnt atmosphere of woes. The pain and desperate mob of need which once seemed so far away, within my dreams has clogged the streets with the filth of bartered day. My sleep has become harrowing, a different venue of the same. The hands I now look down upon are those that wear my name. The words I speak are English, kept quiet in loud dissent, drowned vocally by the screams of rage, demanding I repent. No, my dreams are not of dappled sky. They are striped in stars of war. When I wake, I tell myself it's sleep and not the tomorrows we've given up for. And I think that is pretty clear on what it is. The United States is going through some troubling times at this moment. And we have a liar who is the president and basically who wants to destroy anything that he doesn't agree with. And we have leaders who are not standing up to him and who are cheering on his idiocy. And that can lead to some really bad situations. And my dreams are filled with those right now, and they're not fun. So that's what that's about. And this next poem I wrote in response to keep myself sane while watching the State of the Union last night. And this is called May Freedom Rest in Peace. This world's conscripted to refrain, to bleed mine heart and spade my brain, by a scourge whose chants bereave those sane. I bid all hope adieu. What's more, a tyrant spoiled fools fed, demise bequeathed, they walk undead, hot air and arrogance instead, depleted is all scope. I fret despondent in their gall, blind reverence bends to cawing thrall, corruption breeds this poisoned paw. How can they be so dumb? Weep scandalous in our great demise, drilled rabid drones berate our eyes. 'Tis mocking how they follow lies. May freedom rest in peace. I think it's pretty straightforward. The State of the Union was appalling, embarrassing, humiliating, disgusting. We watched a bunch of people who are supposed to be compassionate and kind and considerate in the voice of others and unifying just completely obliterate what this country is supposed to stand for. Hi, Pradeepta. How are you doing? I know it's a pop-up. Yeah, it's late, but it's 2 a.m. and this is my favorite time. So it fits me. It's not normal if I'm wanting to draw people in, but since I'm reading my poetry, as you know, I kind of don't want to draw people in. I like to pretend nobody sees me. I hope you're having a good evening. And so this next poem is called Twice High. It was written, inspired by a tree photograph that another poet let me write to. And I don't know why these are the words that came with the tree. I was picturing a dryad and stuff, but this is what came out. So Twice High. Once I stepped, I sought, I crept, I wept, I clept, I hawked, I soared. Twice high, I swore, I tried, I tore, I spied, I died, Once you crawled, you sawed, you hauled, you mauled, you lolled, you bawled, you brawled. Twice high, you gnawed, you clawed, you cawed, you fraud, you clawed, you. Once we woke, we joked, we cried, we lied, we vied, we broke. Twice high, we wrought, we caught, we choked, we plied, we soaked, we croaked, we. Once I stepped, I sought, I crept, I wept, I clept, I hawked, I soared. Twice high, I swore, I tried, I tore, I spied, I died. Needles flasked in moonlight, death-tipped and vying for the attention of a stogged unaware. And then this next poem is a jammy envelope form poem that I just tried. It's my first time trying it, and I posted it the other day. And I had a hard time with this, but it's got particular strange rhyme and flow in it. But this was my attempt at it, and it's called Jammy Jammies. Restlessness hums with its sleep-stealing clamber of twisting and turning to waking dreams, dawdling crumbs. Blurry gander barely peeks between the seams of heavy lashes whose fluttering drums meander. Through sunlit gleams to encourage lazy beams, gaze upon the filtered beams of amber, slumber schemes. And I don't really know how to read it, so that's the best I can do with that one. It was a strange form for me, but it was really cool. I like trying new forms because by trying new forms, it expands my capabilities as a poet, and it lets me see new things and learn new ways to combine words. And I think it's always good to challenge ourselves as writers, even when it makes us a little bit uncomfortable. In fact, I would say it's even better when it makes us a little bit uncomfortable and when we fail at it and when we need to improve upon it, because that's the only way we can improve, is if we do the uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable we allow ourselves to be as writers, the better we'll become, because it means we'll approach more subjects and we'll talk about more things. And I think that's really cool. And so the next one is called Unchartered Nothing. I long to can't say that. One more time. And this is written for prompts from the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets that I'm in. There were words I had to include, like the one that I just got tripped over, Herkel Durkel. So this is Unchartered Nothing. I long to Herkel Durkel sleep. Beguiling is that vast so deep. I have a penchant to get lost, a proclivity to pay life's cost. An Amaretta woos time's tongue, a verse old slung from songs unsung. It weaves a web to catch my dreams and then binds my rest in scoured screams. Affinity to ghoulish creeds, enthralling vespers intercede. Stalled deep, sequestered, can't break free. The nightmare cages all to be. To sound I spend, in sight I fall. To taste, there's nothing there at all. Steal on and on in throes. At least, that's how the story goes. At least, that's how the story woes. I long to Herkel Durkel sleep. Beguiling is that vast so deep. And I see people coming in and out. Sometimes I can see comments, sometimes I can't. So if you comment and I don't say anything, I apologize. And so this next one is Euphoria.exe. Encasement grilling, thrummed participles vacate in musky overture. Life grooms a bear-witnessed infestation. I'm crawling like a meteor, pinball inept in a pocketbook prison. Alienated in my own grave. Save, save, save. Sundays are for sinning. Salacious, scintillating, serpentine sensitivity. Inclusivity in the indecision of tries malfunctioning mainframe. Man-made, mandated, mansplained. A fair watt by for the mentally mute. And I just can't stop chewing on the possibility of a curd quenched annihilation, manifesting the quark of inspiration needed for me to spiral into oblivion. Do you want to take a trip? Want to scrape my hip and see where the lines drape you, where the fines weigh true? You want to walk along a winding willow, windswept, weathered, waning, within the worthiness of my wonder, my sunder, my plundering blunder of unkempt elation, squarely rounding every sharp flat, pinging upon the solitude of that which I happen to admire? Do you want to have a try at Euphoria. Whew! Too bad we're stuck tapping to a pine box desiccation in memory of that which might have to be epic. Yours demurely, an emancipated answer. So there you go, Ash. I have read that out loud. I hope you are happy. And that was just an upon waking or upon sleeping free write. I don't remember which. And then this was written to a prompt by Megan. She gave a quote out of Supernatural, and I love the series Supernatural, so I chose to use it. And this is called An Eternal Reckoning. Family don't end in blood, but it doesn't start there either. It starts with an answered cry. It starts with a muffled yelp. It starts when a comfort eases fear and disgrace is erased with a welcoming smile. That's where family starts. It ends the moment each of those things are reversed. Hell, Megs, the second you feel those gears even begin to grind a little, slam it into 5 and leave them eating dust. Trust me on this one. I might be an old cuss, but there's plenty of dirt under these nails, and it ain't for grave robbing. He stood one night 2 steps past flames. Smoke gathered grim and twirled in rings. There on the ground, as sweet as could be, she lay wrapped in the cloth of a bad memory. He sunk down to peer and gnarl a big bite when her lashes went aflutter to showcase young fright. Fate rammed the damn twinge, striking deep in his heart, and said, "Hey, old fella, here's your brand new start." Now those flames were a licking to give him a burn. Looking tasty, the she-demon squirmed like a worm, but he waddled and cuddled her with infinite care. There wasn't a bat's chance in hell death would come to his lair. The story's a stinker, ruggedly riddled and rote, but the vamp bred of honor would not break its oath. Now a powerful menace has reached killing age. Was it wise to raise darkness if it cemented end of days? Mech's smile, a beaming wile filled with cunning and vice. On the ground, through 3 corpses, she trailed tales of mice. Her ruthless compulsion insisted she spurn. Take a chance with the devil, and you're bound to get burned. And next is I Once Knew Love. I once knew love. I once had a home. I once kissed the sky. I once let my heart roam. I once played with fire. I once danced with sand. I once drowned in a river. I once sheltered with the wind. I once was happy. I once knew my name. I once took a risk. I once crumbled in my shame. I once felt complete. I once had no fear. I once caught a smile. I once lost a tear. I once knew love. I once had a home. I once waited by the window. I once forgot the cost outgrown. And the next one, now I'm not explaining my poems. The next one is The Weight of Silence. A memory charred exists to wane, coasting phantom lured by blight. Tomorrow's unspoken cinder pardoned, coughs of soot from a coal-quenched plight. The lingering, tethering, teasing choice, arrowed fragments, missed marks, reft deranged. Quelled burdens, bray fracture, and blathered envoy. Mind fissure, clept hollow, sequestered, estranged. And the next is a bit longer. And I believe, hold on one second. Yes, this I wrote to a list, the entire list of prompts in order as a challenge between me and my friend Ash. She wrote them backwards and I wrote them in order. And so this is a story of Tidal Sentience. Time quivers while tracing the lines of my hands. It's as if all memory escapes from the details opened in my palm. I wonder how long it will take to fully disappear. I wander, like the space between moments when you think of me. We were always a miracle torn, an escape from the norm, askewed and forlorn, scraping against lifetimes of scars worn like armor to depart before a critical joining could save disgrace. What a debasement accrued, little more than forgotten treats for the cavernous whispers wrenched beyond the inept precepts. Little yearnings for many a short-sighted concept. And I'm breaking my fast. I'm carving from this flailing sack of disdain an envelope addressed to my future self. I'm including the list of inappropriate transgressions essential in a spirit's ability to bloom, not splinter. I'm engulfing my all that was and ever could be into a serenade of vintage loneliness. I'm burnishing every second of mishap in these long mistreated follicles because when I chose a new name, plain, insane, self-contained, I swore that old tears would never again fear the misdirection of soured salt on skin. Such is the reparations needed to begin again. For where my shadows meet my light grows the insight of a kindled winter magic, of the lofty breeze that carries the cycle of seeds just beyond life's cradling harm, and the determined roots whispering to one another of freedom's invoice. It's a high-stakes play of all in when departing the way. Never is a lot to pay, because letting go left a mark. A ravine too stark to lark, an obscene transcendence, unequivocal in rise, much like the lies of the skies, feed and despised, embittered fallacies claiming that earth moves when heaven or be gleaned in demise. Tangled tribulations intended to torture and tantalize. A buried boon unraveling the knots in me. To believe otherwise is wildly unreasonable, perhaps downright unfeasible. For what is life without a good why, or when, or where, or once upon a time, I was impudent, repugnant, gloriously unabashed in my ability to ignite every word with the cataclysm of possibility. I was seeping blindness from the enraged, unforgiving to the quest fate's stage. I was glorious in my wrath. But faces wane, and my reflection has changed. I will not do the bidding of he who melts brains. I will not turn my back in disclaim of personified collateral. I will not deny the silence of where there once drummed the percussion of walking feet. I fear not a squeezed tangerine. Instead, like a sledgehammer and a box of nails, I shall crucify every damnation with the shattered urgency of a cripple who understands the power in simply being able to walk their talk. I will gather swan and sparrow, rose and dove, pearl and pomegranate, and I will sink into the turmoil depths of the sleepless ocean and beg he to open closed eyes. Humans had their chance. It's time the water touched the skies. And up next is a Sely Sparkening. Settled somewhere between awareness and the solitude of an empty divine, my eye floats. I am at peace with the pieces unattainable for shuffle. It's in that silent sequester serenading my madness with the light brush of a ceiling fan's kiss and the unforgiving bass of rigidity pressed firmly to my back, where I surrender to Epiphany's seduction. Though sable in its sardonic saunter, I am soothed by sagicity's call, slaked in the Selcouth scroop ever so subtly demanding my attention, and outright sacrilegious in my salut sprawl to the inevitable dawn. It's in my refusal to sacrifice my eye to any sapless scamble that brings me but a flicker of serenity within the Scythian swither. Perhaps I am but a simpleton, sewing seams of doubt along the webbed strands of survival's cage, or maybe, just maybe, I am a sanguineous butterfly, soon to emerge, scintillating in the spectacle of a saporous serendipity. Either way, in the labyrinth of what might lead to bliss, I am me, and I choose to smile in that hard-earned knowledge. Oh, this one's going to be hard. So this next one was written for Brandon's birthday, but I did it through the voice of my vamp cat character, so that means I'm going to have to talk silly. And we'll see if I can do that. Leslie does a much better job of voicing my vamp kitty than I do. I like her interpretation of the words much better than mine. But this is called I Told the Stars. See if I can do this without turning 20 shades of red. Okay. I told the stars about yous, as on the darkest of deepest hasn't happened, your tails would curl tightly around me and squeezes and tickles me's craziest disdays. And then we'd plays and bites and pells until they slumpies. We'd get so hungies and wouldn't cares if there's boom, boom, boom stumpies. But the stars, sparklies, why's all's up in the skies? And I's not licks your brains, nos wants them to complains. So I stood a coulds, maybes, and saids, 'cause sometimes only the feds are undeads, and they shouldn't have stucks out their heads, and they didn't want its packets, or twos, or threes, or oops, we never dumps the slumps. No litterings. Yeah, crocky, snap. I confess, without duress, so often would our taste transgress, from nibbles to bites to clandestine frights, us two bound in flight, auspicious those nights, with the stars mapping each woe to rounds and rounds our twirlies worlds, until they bridges our sauce frowns, and downs and downs and downs we drowns, with gops of the gurgly sounds. Bye, baddies, you's just a phases. Outs with the oldies, you makes us rages. Nevers, evers puts the sheeps inside cages. They supposed to roams freeze. Closed in, they gets contagiouses. I told the stars about you. They glimmered with glee, delighted two beasts were at home and carefree. But then they looked away, and something went wrong. Gone were the sparkles that glowed to our song. Oh, don't listen to her. She's just got lost in her spots. All rusties from dusties that gaves her heart's rots. Can't find the places or the nights from our stasis. She just weeps in the gurglies, all drawns in the pageses. We both told the stars about you, but my story's betters. They sprinkled with the tasties of all's us togethers. And now they be gigglings and squeakings each night, just a waitings for the wishes that'll makes all the dreams bright. Whew, that was something. And this next one is called Raised in Blues. Like weeping onto floors of forget-me-nots, punctuated and permanent. I loved you as if I missed you long before you were gone. I memorized the twinkle of your depth prior to that first mist splits. I poured utopia into your weed-hinged blues, drop by drop, and seeded a sunshine confessional to the surface. I scraped inhibition's plow with a deflated spare and watched a nourished bloom bleed into bold mms. I tickled, humored, your fickle, tumored. It's rumored. It's rumored. Rumor has it you only kissed a sail. But why bell, then leave a much trail through our wild winged spout? I know the future as the past is present to despise, but for all those wondrous strange, I can't feed the lack of wise, the bad buys, the fading, crumbling, rotting days, just a phase, this seasonal rays, like weeping on the floors of forget-me-nots. And then the next one, it's called If. If love was anything more than a prick of infection, unraveling all reason cell by cell, it wouldn't be so cruel. Unknown. If love was anything like the poet's claim, I'd be unraveling in the inferno of your arms this morning. Our bed would be windswept, and the winter's chill observance would melt away as if it never existed in the first place. If love was anything like the poet's claim, the broken pieces we've scattered to the four corners of yesterday would have already been tenderly retrieved and soldered into an exquisite mosaic by the many tears long fallen from our eyes. If love was anything like the poet's claim, I'd not be writing this. I'd not think of you when I gazed across the heavens because you'd be beside me. I'd not get lost within the unbound memories traipsing along the corridors inside my mind. My feels would not be so much bigger on the inside than what I care or share outwardly. If love was real, we'd not run from life nor fear death. There'd be no tomorrow that could escape our reverence, and no yesterday that could pluck us until we mended broken and barren of all hope. If love was anything like the poet's claim, we'd have no need to play pretend. We'd always find each other again and again and again. If love was. Before lightning cracked the surface of our untethered abyss, before we raced beyond the barriers accepted as probable, before he marked us as disposable, I knew love. I can still hear her screams wailing across eternity. And this next one is Eroding Theft. Swallow the drowned, crest gaping stone, a maw hungry for way lines, rock face, cleft unknown, encased debasement, servitude shroud, erosion's distemper, finds filed, disavowed. Thinned looming guardianship, shadow bellinous source, flint infernal speciousness, forswear lost accord. Incongruent conclusions inevitably vast. Wake gargoyle spelled to slumber, wing tomorrow with fraught past. And this next one is called Warm Me Up. Warm me up from the inside, thrum my pitter-patter wowed, woo me and school me in lessons toasty, entice my mind to be aroused. Warm me up, but not too quickly. Let the anticipation simmer, invoke a spell that draws me closer, end my giggle on a whimper. Warm me up with eyes that smolder, ignite a smile that lingers bright. Speak without life's filtered prudence, quake my hungry for your sight. Warm me up from the inside, coax my youthful soul to soar, Cradle our magic, entwined surrender. Warm me up forevermore. And the next one is called The Atonement of Limerence. Before the draft of absence encased this false eternity with the scavengers of drought, before the looming hardship skittering past deaf ears succumbed to a final remorse, before doubt splayed upon the threshold of a nightmare awakening, I loved you. I loved the nimble reproach of fingers dancing their way through the cataclysm of my knotted crown. I loved the slight tilt of a smile quirked for my pleasure alone. I loved the way you unburdened long nestled fears, allowing our joy to infiltrate corrupted thoughts, forever weeding them into an isolated dwindle. I loved you and our spirited repose, the way we tangle tongue in cheek, the sway we'd coax into an inebriated dance of peculiar possibilities. I loved the cacophony that became our song, ours and no one else's, before you declared my feelings as nothing short of a man's misguided limerence, before you struck me obsolete with nary a backward glance, before the echo of your indifference crushed the sanctity of warmth that we once shared, before you discarded everything we had honed, before life proved a king must always stand on his own. I loved you. And for that reason alone, you will atone. After all, it'd be a shame for either of us to lose our head over something so fugacious. And this next one, most of what I write to sound. I write to songs. Sometimes it's hard to read because of the verse. Something I can either do in song or in just spoken word, but sometimes the song is almost, this one is one of those where it's a song and it's definitely not to be read, it's to be sung, but I am not singing. So I don't know how well I'm going to read this, but I was asked to read it, so I'm going to read it. And so this is the Calliope Unwise. Taper, trickle, limerence wanes, lost soul, dead heart, need abstains, wily, wicked, painted meek, I seek, I seek, I seek, I seek, pareidolia fooling me, monstrous faces, all I see, stab and fight, I can't escape, this fate, this fate, this fate, this fate. Darkness rising, pulse feels faint, broken skinned, infected with, that is not right. Sorry. They are out of order. So let me start over. Let me check the order and then start over. Why did it do that? Okay. Let me start over. A Calliope Unwise. Taper, trickle, limerence wanes, lost soul, dead heart, need abstains, wily, wicked, painted meek, I seek, I seek, I seek, I seek. Pareidolia fooling me, monstrous faces, all I see, stab and fight, I can't escape, this fate, this fate, this face, this fate. Tout us rather draconian, we still exist, an anachronism from beyond the mist, our repose concocted as sharp as a fang, to death's cacophony we shall never refrain. The isthmus you dangle lures us out like flies, your every breath the Calliope Unwise. Don't you dare retract once the dinner bells rang. We promised devotion if you endure love's pain. Darkness rises, pulse feels faint, broken skinned, infected with their taint. Can't remember what was said. I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. hungry, starving, filled with dread, racket seething in my head. Blood is calling, I must drink. I sink, I sink, I sink, I sink. Tout us rather Draconian, we still exist. An anachronism from beyond the mist, a repo concocted as sharp as a fang. To death's cacophony we shall never refrain. The isthmus you dangle lures us out like flies, your every breath a Calliope Unwise. Don't you dare retract once the dinner bells rang. We promise devotion if you endure love's pain. Hush, little blood bag, forget all you've heard. We have to drain you drop by drop. To ravage is absurd. If your heart can stake a beguiling pound, we'll stay your loss as a fledgling found. Taper, trickle, limerence wanes, lost soul, dead heart, need abstains. Wily, wicked, painted meek, I seek, I seek, I seek, I seek. And I believe we have 4 more. And so this is a filament of uncertainty. I am a superpositioned wish scraper, a tiny non-existent spark knotted into an unidentifiable something, or another this or that wobbling between unbalanced states. A minuscule light jumper racing from the unknown nothingness, always skating towards the honed filament of visible appall. Except when I'm not. Delicate, abstract, stronger than Kevlar, a weak imposition demanding you react. It's all in the symmetry of my imagination, meager thoughts strung together into a reel of ongoing calamity. At least until I wind down and decide to wish upon a star. What a spectacle to behold. I'd rather remain out of sight. And then next, YouTube Live has new things on the side, and they haven't had them there before, and I kind of want to poke at them. I may poke at them at the end just to see what it does. So I'll know next time. I don't know what it does, but I'm very, very curious. And every time I glance up and see my screen, I see all of them. And there's 2 that have blue dots on them just going, come poke me. See what happens. And oh, I want to. I'm going to wait till the end. I can do that. And so this is Summon Depth Siege. Brace siege and call throng servitude. Clasp night and focus source. Round deems less cycled, misconstrued, such prayers false sums endorse. When sleight of sand spins minutes hold, theft argues righteous claws. Hush fear and keening south, burn bold, bite strength, invoke thine falls. I'm a big believer in accepting your flaws, and in some ways even rejoicing upon them. Our flaws are what make us unique. Our flaws are what give us strength. Our flaws are what help us learn. And so I have made a conscious effort to redefine what flaw means in my mind, because we're taught that flaw is just an ugly thing. It's something that makes something worth less. It's something that makes something wrong. And I think that's a bad way to look at things. I think that's, in many ways, creates a lot of the mental issues that we have going on, because nobody's perfect. We can't be perfect. We're going to mess up. We're going to have things that somebody else may consider a flaw, but just because one person or a million persons says that's a flaw, it doesn't make it so. So it's just a concept and a word that I'm kind of not in agreement with. I mean, unless it's, like a flaw in something where if a laser or something where a flaw can cause catastrophic harm, but our flaws can't do that really. And so this next one is Sopite and Filth, and it was written for Valentine's Day. My take on Valentine's Day this year. Dreams fragrant with before my nose, so lush trusts Mary decomposed, bid not of queries overture, such answers haunt the life impure. Lay schemed and ground and gurgle late, too carked for sob to render hate. Our love swayed listless, moreover oft, a grudge-bound goik thou addled soft. Determined ick to spare love true, imbued wrought venom sin thou stew, found glutton mickle loth to share, reprobation served mine care. So pine in filth's eternal loam, compose thou hatchet yonder throne, greet grubs and crawlers as thou friend. Godspeed, mine heart, our time doth end. And so in this one, the female character, or it could be male character, made their partner a very rememberable meal. And so this is the next to the last poem that I'll be reading, and it plays with alliteration and archaic words, two of which are things I love, and rhyme and rhythm. And it's based a bit on my space vampire story arc. So it's like takes everything that I enjoy and combines it all together in one poem. And let's just hope I can read all the words. Being able to write a word and being able to pronounce a word correctly are two very different things. And so this is called Bloviating Love. Brave bibulous need for blood and bone, each heartbeat broker's survival. Blessed are the overthrown, bear witness to love's revival. Bequeath brought bastion, blubbered and brawn, flay hunger in feats lewd and daring. Blessed are the souls we pawn, breathe hardship to sate love's caring. Be flum, be shrew, be brutally base, wean praise on the teats of surrender. Blessed are the bludder-blunt hazed, brave violence as love's contender. Be muse-baned brothel and blattle-broom brabble, teach timidity to serve as religion. Blessed are the folk we broggle, brute hardship to blench love's contrition. Be spurtle-bound seed of the batten-board bevy, take time to foster blebbed brattle. Blessed are the born in levy, burrow banter to bescumber love's cattle. Brave bibulous need for blood and bone, each heartbeat broker's survival. Blessed are the overthrown, bear witness to love's revival. It's just fun to read that. I like all of these. It makes me happy. And so for the final poem tonight, it's going to be an acrostic that I wrote to Stephanie's challenge to write an acrostic, but instead of, usually when I write acrostics, I do single word acrostics, but she wrote one in this beautifully long worded poem. And so I took her challenge and I went with the word daydream because my handle is from the breath of daydreams. And I firmly believe that daydreaming, dreaming in the day, dreaming while awake is key and important to growth. And it is only with daydreams that we make advances in ourselves, in science, in everything. If we're not able to dream it while we're awake, if we're not able to daydream about the possibilities and what we might manifest into reality, it can't happen if people aren't willing to fantasize about what isn't there and what could be. We wouldn't have the advances that we have. And so, and also I think daydreaming is just an unwillingness to settle into negativity or negative feelings that might come about. It's not saying, oh, you have to always be happy and always be chirpy, because I'm not. I'm a melancholy soul who just likes to not be melancholy. But it's that consistent pursuit to find joy and to find happiness and to dream of better and to pursue that. That to me is what a daydream is. So this is Daydream. Devoted in an unwillingness to acquiesce to a morose existence. Yesterday's sorrows are sacrificed and drowned within an unapologetic revolution of self-prescribed euphoria. Maintaining an eternal vigilance in answering the universe's song of magic and mayhem with a dance of ever-expanding love. And that pretty much sums up my view of what life should be and what life is and how we should, what is that on my shirt? How we should go about life. I don't think, obviously we're going to think about yesterday and we have regrets about things we may have done wrong, but to dwell upon that is to destroy our futures. And so I think we take it in, we drink it in, and then we sacrifice it to a better tomorrow, to a more beautiful tomorrow and today. And we live in the moment in today and try to find joy in what's around us and lift up. It's not about ignoring what's around us. We see it, we acknowledge it, we work against the negative and bad, but we have to be aware and be positive as well. Otherwise, that's soul sucking and destroying. So that's kind of what that is. And so I want to thank everybody who stopped in and anybody who watches this afterwards. And I'll be trying, this one went a little over an hour. It's kind of longer than what I want them to be. So depending upon how much I write each week, I'm going to try to do this either once a week or twice a month and just read the poems that I post and a little bit from my book each time. Maybe sometime I'll read some other people's poetry, but right now I'm trying to get comfortable reading my own poetry live. And I'll probably, at least until I'm more comfortable reading my own poetry live, I'll probably just do them as pop-ups like I did this. Announcing that I'm going to do it at a certain time on a certain day kind of gives me a bit of anxiety leading up to it. And so by just coming on whenever I want to, that forces me to get in front of the camera a bit more and it makes it easier. So again, thank you everybody. I know that depending upon where, well, no, everywhere in the world, I guess right now is a bit chaotic and none of us know what's going on or what's going to happen. And that makes things very nerve-wracking. But I hope each of you are able to find some joy in your day and that you're able to find some beauty in your day. And most importantly, I hope that each of you are able to gift some joy in your day to someone else and make some smiles and just ask people how they're doing and be kind. And I hope that we have a brighter tomorrow. And again, thank you for joining me. My name's Angelique. I'm from The Breath of Daydreams here on YouTube and on Instagram. You are welcome to follow me on either. And if you enjoyed this, maybe like it, leave a comment, and thank you. May you shine brightly. Good night. Oh, wait, don't stop. I'm going to push the buttons now. Hold on, let me push a button. Green screen. Oh, I can put, ooh. Okay, give me 1 second. I just want to see if this works. Oh, let me find something that I can actually green screen. Looking. I know I have some images on here that don't have words. Somewhere. Scrolling. Is that one? Nope, word. Whoever's coming in now is going, what in the world is this woman doing? She's scrolling through her. Okay. I'll see if this works. Where did it go? Will it put it up? Oh, it did. Hold on. Oh. Uh-oh. I can have a pretty background. I mean, there's all this weird stuff going on, but that's cool. What does this one do? Retouch. Oh, that's messed up. I don't want retouch on. Okay, turning that off. Well, now I'm going to go that I've seen what that is. Bye.